Good morning, my loves. Welcome to a weekly vlog. If you're new here, my name's Lotty. Grab yourself a drink that you enjoy and get cozy because this week we are having a catch up. It has been an awfully long week for me and I haven't seen or spoken to any of you lovely lot for over a week now. So I didn't upload last week and the reason will be, I'll fill you in on the reason in a little while. Right now, we are going to enjoy 10 minutes peace and an iced coffee before we carry on with our daily routine of going to my grandma's, doing the care work, which I feel like I haven't taken you along for such a long time. So we're going to do that this morning and we will catch up properly when I've done all my jobs today. So we're going to do care work, a little bit of a cleaning reset for the house, and then we're going to have a catch up. And I will explain the week of utter craziness because, to be honest, I need to get it out of my brain, so I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm moaning, but this is going to be so very, very therapeutic for me. For all those who've seen my post last week, thank you for your messages and lots of love sent for you. But again, I'll explain everything shortly, so come along with me and let's go get grandma started this morning. Well, my loves, today's not going according to plan either. I have just got home and finished up my carol. Sorry, the lighting is going to be a little bit dodgy for a minute because I'll be up and downstairs. But I have already had a phone call from school, and please excuse my really red and sore nose. It's the cold. So, basically, I have to find more moisturiser to put on my 8-year-old because she suffers with dry skin and eczema, and apparently the cream that we have on prescription at school is now out of date and school are refusing to put it on her. So now I'm going to have to go backwards and forwards to school every time she's itchy to put cream on her because they refuse to do it themselves without a prescription. So I am having a moment, finding some cream and walking around to the school. So you can come with me for that, and this is a slight interruption to what I was going to be doing, and I cannot for the life in me find the cream. Where has she put it? We literally put it on last night. We literally put it on when she got out of the bath last night. Anyway, join me on my walk in a second. I found the cream. This is exactly what I've just used on my grandma because she is currently itching. I'm waiting for an appointment for her. This stuff is an actual real godsend. It is so good. The smell of it is incredible as well, and it's for sensitive skin. So I'm just going to go to school and slap a load of this on Delilah's legs. And hopefully, after that point, we can have our catch-up and I will fill you in on the absolute crazy week that we've had. And apparently, it's still continuing. So, let's go walk to school. Hi again. This was not the vlog I initially intended to film, so I'm going to tell you all about a very, very chaotic week whilst I'm being scratched by the cat, because she's determined to be part of this video. So let's go back and start on Monday last week. I did start filming, and initially I was going to be filming a declutter and get the house ready for sale photos, because we have put the house on the market, or we were putting the house on the market last week. More on that in a little second. So on Monday morning we had woken up for school in our usual fashion. Apart from Sunday evening, Ewan had a ridiculously disturbed night's sleep, and at the time I thought he had just got yet another bug from school, because he is continuously bringing home bugs from school and he suffers quite badly. He gets it straight on his chest, it always turns into a cough, and this is something that's been flagged with the doctor before, and we have been given a brown inhaler for it. So if you know, that's kind of like a preventer inhaler. So he was supposed to have one puff on the morning, one puff on the evening, which we have done religiously. He was just feeling disgusting and yucky and very full of cold and coughs. So he had Monday off, and then Tuesday rolled round and I was still really not happy with the way he was sounding. So his cough wasn't so bad, but his breathing was very laboured, so he'd started sucking in. You could see working really hard to kind of like catch his breath, if you like, and it just didn't sit right with me. So first thing Tuesday morning I called and made an appointment at the GP, who agreed to see us at about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So we went to the GP appointment and the GP was like, I really think that you need to go into the hospital, because he clearly does have laboured breathing and I can't hear anything on his lungs. So she'd taken a listen, and normally with breathing issues, if it's something that the doctor can cope with, it's like crackling or wheezing and they can kind of refer from there, but this doctor couldn't hear that. So I took him to the hospital where we had been referred, so we didn't luckily have to go through A&E, which was really rather helpful. So we arrived at about 12. I took a taxi up and literally just threw things in a bag for the day, thinking we would be in and then we would be coming home. And that is just not how it happened. So the doctor saw him within like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes of being there. We weren't sat in the waiting room for very long before the doctors came in. They listened to his heart and they took all his readings and his stats, one of those, where they're measuring the oxygen level in his blood and his heart rate. And he was tachycardic at that point, so his heart rate was ridiculously fast. I think at one point it was like up at 200, which is crazy high, even for like fighting off an infection. That's quite high. So they admitted us straight away, and we spent the next 4 days on nebulizers and oxygen and antibiotics and staying in the hospital. So we spent 3 nights and 4 days in the hospital from Tuesday. We didn't get home until around lunchtime on Friday. So as you can imagine, that was pretty intense. For Ewan it was intense because, I mean, he's five, and what 5-year-old wants a cannula put in their hand, and what 5-year-old wants to breathe with an oxygen mask, because that's what he had all week. He did so well. I'll not cry. He did ridiculously well. There was a few moments of false hope where we were being told that if it looks like he's not needing oxygen, then we'd be able to go home. So like day 2 rolled round and they were saying this to us: if he can have a nap or a sleep and he's not needing oxygen when he's asleep, you can go home. And then he needed the oxygen overnight, so he had to stay another night. And that went on for like I said, 3 nights and 4 days. So when it time to come, getting the cannula out of his arm was traumatic for him and for us. Rob was there at that point because he'd come to visit anyway. Delilah was at school, and this was on Friday morning, so the nurse managed to finally get the cannula out of the back of his hand, bless him, and he did all right. We ended up having to steady him. He was hugging Rob and the nurse was pulling it out of his hand, but he wanted to look but he didn't want to look, so it was like one of those things where he really knew he should be looking away and looking at something different, but he couldn't like take his eyes off the process of what was going on because he was curious at the same time as being absolutely frightful of it. So he watched that happen. He did really well. And then, meanwhile, in the background, whilst Ewan and I were stuck in hospital, and meanwhile, as this was going on Tuesday, the idea in my head was to deep clean the house and declutter everything. So I'd got boxes ready. I had started taking things off surfaces so that the pictures for the staging of the house looked really neat. I didn't get to do any of that. Rob did his absolute best, but it filled me with dread. And you know when like you have an idea in your head of how it's going to be and what it's going to look like and how you're going to tidy things or clean something, and then someone goes and does it totally differently to how you would have done it. It was like that, and I am not taking away. Rob did incredibly well. Our friends are actually listing our house, so they own the EweMove estate agents, which is quite close to us, and they agreed to put our house on sale. So within a week it's gone up. They have done it so quickly for us, and I cannot tell you how thankful and grateful I am for those two people. Stacey and Lee at EweMove are fantastic. Use them because they are incredible. Yeah, so the house got staged by Lee, Stacey and Rob. It's like, it looks great. It looks fantastic. I couldn't have asked for more, but I'd have done it differently. And that's just me being a little bit of a control freak over like, yeah, how things are supposed to look and how I want them to look. But this morning, as you will have seen, I have been out and I've done all my jobs at my grandma's. She was a little bit worse for wear. She has got a head cold herself, so she wasn't 100%. So I've done her washing, I've made her bed, I got her breakfast, I did her shopping. I sat with her for an hour or so, and hopefully we'll get back into the swing of like our normal routine because she's really suffered because of all this. We have the most incredible neighbours around her. So her neighbour who cleans for her, and she has been nipping in and making sure like she's had a medication whilst I've not been there. My brother called in over the weekend to make sure she was okay and had enough food. She's just been a little bit more confused than normal. So there were a moment we watched on the camera, my mum alerted me to it, but she'd seen her, she kind of like walked across the driveway and sat down on the little wall, and then just sat there for a little while. I don't know whether she's just feeling wobbly. She'd gone to put something out to dry, I think, just on the wall, but she'd gone, had a little bit of a wobble, so she'd sat down, struggled to get up. Took about 15 minutes sat there. I mean, luckily the weather was fine. It's been nice. And then just toddled on back to the house. But the thing is, she's quite unsteady on her feet, is my grandma. Not that she can't do it, she just doesn't move very much. So she's like, it's almost like her body is seizing up. So she's gone across and sat on the other side of the driveway, and she is sat there taking in the environment and all the rest of it. She stands up and she looks like she's going to fall face first onto the concrete. But she's not, because she's stopping and she's picking moss off the driveway, but it looks like she's just gonna go head first into the floor. And she doesn't ever, she rarely falls. Like, she hasn't fallen in that sense. She thinks she's fallen a couple of times in the house, but not like to any major extent. She's had a bruise here and there, but she's normally pretty good, so she must have better balance than she makes out. Because if we ever try and take her out, she wants to lean on you, she's using a stick. She is very much makes out like she needs full support, yet we see her like dash across the driveway and like just bend over in half to pick moss off the drive. I mean, is it your first thought when you walk across the driveway, must pick that moss off? It's not something I ever think of doing. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. But yeah, she's quite scary sometimes to watch on that camera. So she's had a bit of a week of it. She's covered in itches because she's been scratching herself, and I think, and I might be wrong because I'm not a doctor, but we have been in the doctors about it before, she has scratched herself raw, and I think it's more of a psychological thing than an actual medical issue. So I'm putting cream on her and I'm giving her an antihistamine at the moment, and I am awaiting an appointment for her. So that's the thing that we've got to do. I've also got to go get her ears tested because she is absolutely adamant that she has a problem with her ears. Now, the doctor checked her the last time we were at the doctor's and there were no issues, none whatsoever. So I'm thinking it's potentially a little bit of deafness creeping in. So that's another lovely thing to do. But whilst I was at my grandma's this morning, it was not planned, but I received a phone call from school saying that Delilah was very itchy. So normally she has a really huge bottle of cream in the office, and if she itches due to eczema, or like hay fever, I guess, or heat related incidents, that she can go and put cream on. But the cream was out of date and school refused to put the cream on her, so she had to wait for me to turn up with the cream to be able to put it on her. You know, we live in this world and it so lacks common sense, because actually Delilah doesn't suffer with eczema in a severe way. It's very, very mild. She gets occasional flare-ups and it's always heat related. So one might argue that it's not even eczema. I mark it as eczema because I suffered with it as a child myself, and it has come up in a few places over a few times, and she does get it in the creases of her arms and her legs, but it also comes up like over her legs as well, so she'll just sit and scratch her legs. But again, this could be an anxious thing or it could be a heat thing. It all could be related. So she's got a cream for that. So school won't let me leave a moisturiser with the school because apparently allergies. I have to have a bottle of moisturising cream with her details on it prescribed from the doctor. And each time the doctor has done this for me, it's stuff you can buy directly over the counter anyway. It is a moisturiser. It has no medical like active ingredients in it. It is purely a moisturiser that is suitable for sensitive skin. Yet I am having to wait now for a prescription so that school will put cream on her if she needs it. So if they call me again now, I have to dash into school and go put cream on her because they will not do it themselves, or they won't let her do it. So I can't leave a bottle of moisturiser with her. Where's the common sense in this world? Like, if I were a full-time working parent and if I didn't work the way that I did, how would I be able to do that? She would have to suffer all day purely because the adults around her are bound by some kind of rule that says you can't put moisturiser on a child, but they can put sunscreen on. They can put sun cream on them. Riddle me that one. So even with my permission to put cream on her, they won't do it. It's ridiculous. It's a big waste of parents' time because literally she's 8. She can put cream on her body. It's quite an easy task. She's not incapable in any way. So that's another thing that's happened today. We have also, just this afternoon, about 12 o'clock actually, had the for sale board put up in the front garden, and I've done a little video and I'll do a little insert of my garden there. You will see I have put in a few flowers, and they were the flowers that I put in last week in order to prep for the staging for the photographs. And yeah, there is the for sale sign. So we have had a little bit of interest so far. So the listing went live on Sunday morning, and within the first 40 minutes of it going live, we had a request for viewing. So I'm hoping and taking that as a very positive sign. We are hoping and putting it out there that we will get a very quick sale, and preferably one with either a very easy downward chain or a no downward chain, because the chain above us is chain free, so nobody is living in the house that we want to buy. It is completely empty and ready to go whenever the sale is complete. So that helps, and it means that we will potentially move quite quickly. So yeah, it's kind of been a chaotic week, a very chaotic week. I'm hoping that once I have shifted this rubbish head cold and spot of hay fever, that I can get back to my normality and do my daily things and start putting some house moving content out there and start decluttering spaces and boxing things up, because I'll be doing literally every single room because there is so much rubbish in this house that we need to get rid of. But I do not want to get a skip because they take forever to collect the skip, which means that I'm going to have to do a lot of tip runs, which is fine because I have the car and all the rest of it, but it's not open on Monday. So I've currently got a box sat in the front room of items to donate. I'm trying to keep that box closed because it contains some of the kids' old stuff. But as anyone with kids know, when you're trying to declutter and the kids see the stuff that you're trying to declutter, even though they haven't played with it in the last 3 years, they want to get it out and they want it. They don't want to leave it. They don't want to give it away. They don't want to pass it on to anyone else. They want it. So I am really hoping that that box is going to go undetected and I'm going to be able to get that to the tip tomorrow morning without too much fuss, because it's an argument that I don't want and I am not willing to have right at this very phase. Delilah finds the prospect of moving quite difficult anyway, so if she knows that I'm potentially taking some of the stuff that she doesn't use anymore, she's going to have a real hard time in letting go of that. Generally speaking, we only do 2 clear outs a year, once just before Christmas, maybe around November time, so we can pass on to charity shops things that we don't use, and that kind of works for our family because we ask or we tell the kids that Santa has asked for them to give up things that they no longer use or no longer want, and they do manage that, but it's for a very specific reason. So we do it at that point, and then we do a bit of a pre-summer clear out. Normally I've done it around this time because the school fair is coming up and they normally ask for donations. Now school haven't asked for any donations this year, so I haven't done it. That, and with everything going on since going away to Scotland, it's just been a never-ending roller coaster. We have had something go on every single week. Like the first week back, we had we were trying to get back into a routine and we were going to see the house of our dreams, which we have found, and I am not going to tell anyone a thing about it until we definitely know that we've got it, because us buying that house depends on us selling this house, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I am putting it out there in the universe that that is our house and we will be moving in as soon as humanly possible because it is just our dream house. The whole setup is just lovely. So the week we came back from Scotland, we'd gone to visit a couple of houses. So we'd visit the one that we class as our dream house and another one which was a little bit more local to us now. Not that we're moving far away, we're only going half an hour from where we are. 20 minutes, half an hour. I'll be back every day for care jobs anyway. So it won't be, it's not millions of miles away. It's not too far out of the norm. But we were doing all that on the first week, and then we'd made the decision to sell because that was the stipulation. The offer would be accepted if we had sold our house. So it's been provisionally accepted in the hope that we can sell our house very quickly. Yeah, so that was that week. And then the weekend came and went, and a few things went on over that weekend. And then Ewan got poorly on Sunday. I tried to do the garden, then we ended up in hospital for a week, essentially, and we were just trying to get back to normal. We were just trying to do it. And it's been rough. It's been hard. I feel like I held it together, and then I've come home and I have picked up a bug from either the hospital or Ewan or whoever. I have picked up some kind of bug, and because I've been run down, I have been hit quite hard with it, and it's been difficult to sleep because my nose is so stuffy, and I feel like I'm just complaining that, you don't need to know the ins and outs of a stuffy nose, but it's just been a lot this week. So hopefully, after another couple of Lemsips and maybe a good night's sleep, I will be feeling right as rain tomorrow, which is when this video will go live. And then after that point, we should be on with normal content and maybe doing a few house things. So it will be, like I said, decluttering and clearing up the space. I need to do a massive clean because our first viewing is on Wednesday. So we're currently on Monday. I'm reluctant to do it today because I have pets and children. I have pets and children, so I need to do it on the day and maybe the day before. So I will do the deep clean tomorrow, and then I'll do a secondary clean right before the viewing is supposed to happen. I think there's a couple of viewings happening on the Wednesday, but we will see. We haven't spoken to our estate agents today yet. Rob's in contact with them all the time because, like I say, Rob's known his friend who is one of two people running it. So it's a husband and wife team, and Rob has known Lee for years and years. So they're in touch daily anyway. And Lee is updating Rob at every opportunity, and we are passing information back and forth when we have it. So I will probably know more a little later. After today, Rob has got a long day today, and I have got to finish getting all the stuff put away for today after I've finished this vlog up, and then I can start doing a bit of a deep clean and maybe start decluttering some stuff. There's a few problem areas right this very second, and the problem areas in my head are the garage and the room of doom, which is our little cupboard under the stairs because things just get shoved in there. And when they were staging the house on Wednesday last week, they shoved a lot of things in the cupboard, which is fine, but it just means that I've got to go through it all and make sure that that cupboard is as tidy as possible, so that when people open the door, things are not like falling out and hitting them, because I am not insured for other people being hit in the face with something that's going to fall out of my cupboard. So I'm going to do that today, tomorrow and Wednesday morning, and hopefully, keep your fingers crossed for us, but hopefully by the end of the week we may have an offer. Fingers crossed. I'm putting it in the universe because that's the ideal. I know sometimes houses take a lot longer to sell than that. We've had really good feedback from what it looks like online, and I will leave the link for our house in the comments below or in my description below, so you can see the listing and how the photos turned out. They did a really good job. Hopefully it'll sell very quickly and we'll be on to the next place, of which I will show you fully at a later date. Like I say, I don't want to jinx it too much. I'm just trying to put it out there and manifest it a little bit. So our new house, that's exactly this, it's ours. It's definitely going to be our new house. So manifest that for me if you can, I would appreciate it. Right, so on that note, I'm going to finish my very lukewarm tea, and what am I going to do? I'm going to put a load of washing away now. Very exciting stuff. Ewan, by the way, is doing absolutely fine. He's back at school today. I have had to give instructions for an extra inhaler because we've been sent on with an inhaler alongside his usual brown one. And we will be reviewed in 6 to 8 weeks with the asthma team. I don't think he's got asthma. They might prove otherwise, but I think this has just been a cough-induced wheeze or an infection-induced wheeze, which is what led us to be in the hospital to start with. Yeah, on that lovely note, guys, I am going to go for now. If you have any tips for me selling my house, because this is the first time Rob and I have sold a house. The last time we moved, we bought because we were renters before. So this is our first owned property. We have never sold anything before. I am looking for tips on how to make it smell good, on how to make it look good, all the little snaggy bits that you need to do to make it more attractive, essentially. So if you've got any tips for me, put them on below in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, let me know how you're doing. It would be lovely to hear from anyone who is having a very good week, if you're having a very bad week, don't worry, because we are in the trenches together. Hopefully I'm coming out of my trenches. At the moment, I'm getting out of it. My nose is so sore. So yeah, hopefully we're all getting out of the trenches and no one's too deep into the trenches. But let me know in the comments below how you're doing. It'd be nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching as ever. I hope you'll join me next week for hopefully a little bit more stable content, because I know it's been a little bit all over the place. I didn't upload last week, and the week before I uploaded slightly later than normal, but hopefully we are back to normal, fingers crossed. There's no more emergencies or issues or anything like that. I will speak to you very, very soon. Have the best week, my loves. See you later.